What is up, guys? My name is Nathan, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the tone curve sliders to create contrast and make an image like this from an image like this. Alright, first off, you can see down here below the basic tab, you have the tone curve adjustments. And what you'll see here is a diagram, and it displays on where your detail is in the photo. So up here, this kind of mimics your histogram, as you will see up here, and it just lets you know where most of the detail of the photo lies. Up here you have the highlights, here you have the lights, here's the darks, and down here's the shadows. Down here you'll see that there's individual sliders for each tones. So you can adjust each tone individually, either by using the slider, or you can just adjust it up here using the diagonal line. Double-clicking on any point in the diagonal line resets it to the default value of 0, or if you have a value set down here and double-clicking on the slider, that resets it to 0 as well. Alright, if you want to create contrast in an image, the first thing you want to do is look at where most of your detail lies. See, in this image I have here, most of the detail is in the highlights, so I think I'm just going to bring the highlights down so you can see more detail in the sky. I'm going to do that by sliding the highlight slider to the left here. As you can see, that really opened up the highlights and just lets you see more detail. Alright, over here in the lights, you will see that it affects most of the building tones on the bricks here, because most of those tones lie in this tone range. Alright, so I'm just going to adjust those up a little bit, maybe a little bit more, and then bring down the highlights once more, because the lights also affects some of the highlights. Moving down to the darks, you'll see that it affects most of what is black or close to black in the image. You'll see that moving it to the left creates a more contrasted, darker image, and moving it to the right decreases the contrast and makes everything pushed towards the mid-tones more. I'm just going to leave it about -13. Below that is the shadow slider, and this affects everything that was not covered before. So you see down here in the grass, it's got the shadows in it. Adjusting it to the right increases the exposure, and the left decreases exposure. So in order to create contrast, I'm just going to create a little curve. So down here in the shadows, it's going to be a bit lower, and maybe up here, I'm going to increase the highlights a bit more. Alright, down here you'll see that the point curve option allows you to choose which type of curve you want. Medium contrast increases the ends and beginnings of this line and just creates a more contrasted look. Strong contrast does the same exact thing, but a more pronounced look. Default is set to linear. Up here you'll see that there's also a tool to allow you to select which tones you have in your image and adjust them independently from this. So if you see, I just clicked this tool here, and then dragging over a point in my image here, let's say highlights. If I drag up, it will increase the tones of the highlights, or down, it will decrease the tones of the highlights. Alright, and then if you do this over something that's in a lights tone, same exact thing happens. Decreases for dragging down, and increases if you drag up. I'm just going to leave it right about there. Right, and then also it works for every other tone, so shadows and darks as well. To create more contrast, I think I'm going to decrease the darks a little bit more, and then just increase the lights. Alright, as you can see, without using any exposure edits except for clarity, you can create a pretty contrasted image like this. This is before, and this is after. Alright, I hope this video helps you learn more things about the tone curve adjustments and how you can create contrast in your images apart from the basic exposure adjustments. Thanks for watching.